Alright, what's up everybody? Full Face Andy here to bring you the final installment of this raft frame build project. So right now we're here on the first warm weekend of the spring, and as you can see the river's blown out, and we're in multi-day mode. We did a little overnight camp last night.
Good morning, sunshine.
Good morning, sunshine. And while I got it de-rigged, I just want to show you a couple things about what I did to finish this frame up. The frame, as you remember it from the last part, was pretty much complete with all the side decks and everything. Some things that I did from a previous trip, I noticed that the sheet metal on the side decks was real slick to stand on, especially for the dogs, and really bright and glaring in the sun. So I took some just marine carpet, just regular old marine carpet. I know I talked about doing the EVA foam, like the sea decks, that I've read is real tough to clean, and I didn't want to put money into something that I know is going to get dirty and be tough to clean. So this has been used for a long time now, and it still looks great. Cut it out, glued it on, it's holding up pretty good. I also did a permanent installation of a mount for the bimini top, and I just took some plate steel and cut it out and kind of put it like that. This is why you gotta be careful what you weld around. It's dry this time of year. One thing I would change is now this the strap access point here is not as usable. I might cut out a little bit in here just so then I could put a strap around there. That's just a forethought there. What else did I do? I got my full floors. I got a bow, center, and stern floor. Right now they're not connected together, so they are loosey-goosey, which is fine when you're just putting gear on it. I got a drop bag that I sewed up myself. I just used it's called Fifertex is the material, and some 1-inch webbing and a bunch of cam buckles. All right, and I just kind of measured it out and sewed it up, and that's been working beautifully for just having a catch-all for a bunch of random gear thrown in there. The cooler, it just kind of sits in here, and I got some straps on the side. That's the nice thing about this Arctic cooler, the strap points on the side so you can still access inside. But the other thing I did, let's see if I can pop off one side. So underneath, this is how I'm keeping my cooler from rotating. I just got this piece of plastic and I bent up the edges so that way it fits the cooler nicely. And I took another piece of 1-inch webbing and I cut it out to the right length and sewed it up with a buckle on one end and girth hitch on the other end. And that works wonderfully. Let's see if I can get it back in there. If you're sitting on one edge, it doesn't want to rotate like this. If you ever just have a sling under the cooler, you'll notice that it'll rotate like that. Stern deck, nothing special, same as the other ones. The flooring material that I use is called Polymax, and it's been great. It's held up well. This floor in particular in the center has been used in my previous frame build, and it's still going strong. Can't even tell. The trick with the Polymax, if you've seen any of my other videos, and you know that it's about 16 inches between supports is about as max as you can go. This one I got about 12 inches, and I can stand in between. There's a little bit of flex. It ain't going nowhere though. It's not gonna break. But yeah, so there's the frame as it sits. Was there anything else that I needed to cover? If I forgot something, then just ask in the comments and stuff, But I'm going to take a moment to load this frame up and show you what it's like fully loaded. All right, we're fully loaded now. Pretty tall gear stack in the back, but that works out pretty good. So the couple things that are really nice I want to point out. I made these bays 20 inches wide so that way they fit these 20mm rocket boxes, ammo cans. And specifically what I've done here that's really cool, that I think is really cool, I do a strap with the girth hitch on one end and another short with the buckle on this end, so that way if I want to pop it off, simple as that. Because as we know, we like to get into our snacks while we're floating down the river, but then if there's a rapid coming up, which there is, then we just do that and we're good. Let me do that over here. Yeah. The other things that I really like about this boat, or I don't know, what do you like about this boat?
I like that it has a shade for a little baby when she could get sunburned.
Oh yeah, with the bimini top. It also gets out of the way when we want the sun, because it's not exactly the hottest morning. But yeah, now we're gonna row through this. All right, so there you have it. Finished our multi-day trip with the multi-day setup. I guess one other thing that I wanted to add that I forgot to say on the river is just kind of a pro tip. And I mentioned a little bit, but having straps that are the right size makes things so easy, like I showed with the dry boxes. And same thing with the cooler here, just having a strap that's the right size so you can even get it in and out one-handed, especially for your spare oar. Having something that's easy to pop off, you kind of want that for a spare oar especially. But just for all the things, like I made custom straps for even the main frame right here, just because I don't like having really long tails and stuff. So I try and use what's right. And also, for lashing down the gear, with those floors and the Polymax flooring, you could fish straps through pretty much anywhere you want. And I pre-rig my straps. I don't know, you probably saw that in the time lapse, but I have the straps already laying there and girth hitched or just, you know, wrapped around so that I can stack the gear and then throw the straps over the top, cinch it down. So I'm not trying to fish straps underneath a pile of gear or something like that. That's just a little tip I learned on the Grand Canyon when you have to rig every morning and all that kind of stuff. Oh yeah, the other pro tip. These bags right here are real cheap and also real shitty. They got holes and stuff in them, but for gear that doesn't need to stay dry, like your chairs and even your tent, I like throwing them in what I call splash bags, just because right in the bow here is getting splashed on a little bit here and there. But when you get to camp and you want to sit your butt down as it's getting dark, sitting on a wet chair just ain't fun. You have to spend time around the fire trying to dry it out and all that kind of stuff. So just having splash protection for things like that aren't pertinent to stay dry is great. Even a tarp, wrap it around. If we had a flip, well then a lot of things are getting wet. That's why it's really important for your gear, like clothes and sleeping bag. You want those in a nice dry bag, even a dry bag in a dry bag. That's just kind of my pro tip. So here's everything that I take for my multi-day out of this raft, including the cooler, which is always part of my frame. But yeah, I'm not going to go into everything I got here, but assume that this, even with just being a one-night overnight trip, it would be about the same amount for 3-night or even 5-night. My clothes bags would be a little bit fuller, and then I might have a little bit more stuffed into my food. This, I mean, you can see this cooler is not too full. There's even some leftovers from lunch today. But yeah, if you want to see a video of me going over all my multi-day gear, I do have some pretty cool little systems I got for my kitchen, and then everybody loves a groover. Mine's a little different. If you want to see a video on that, then drop a comment down below. Let me know that you're interested, and then maybe I can put a video together about my multi-day gear. But otherwise, I'm gonna get this boat off the trailer, tip it up and clean it, and then kind of set it aside for a little bit. I got some other projects to do, but then I'm gonna get out on the river again in fishing mode, so you guys can see that. So if that's the end of this video, then stay tuned for the fishing setup, and be sure to check out my other content, all that good stuff. And of course, till next time, take it easy.